It's 80 degrees and we're going up there. Perfect day for a little climb. Whew. It's gonna be hot. It's already 80 degrees and I'm headed up Jackson Hole Mountain Resort's Rendezvous Mountain, and I'm gonna take the trail as far as I can until I hit snow, and then we'll probably finish on a service road. But I'm looking to get up to the Gandhi, the top of the Gandhi, probably a little over 2,000 feet of climbing, 4 miles, so good long climb. And we're gonna talk the art of the downhill, so come along. Yesterday I did a quick first impressions of the new Salomon S-Lab Sense 8 soft ground. Check out the new booty. It's a nice slip-on gaiter. So I'm taking this up with me today. I'm gonna hit a little bit of everything, especially hard packed dirt service roads. But before I hit the service roads, I'm probably gonna hit a lot of soft trails, maybe even some snow. So I'm gonna keep trying these out and see how they go. So they're going up with me today. So let's go. Not a cloud in the sky. I mentioned it's hot. It's gonna be 85 down in the valley today. So I thought this would be a great day for a good climb. Get up at some altitude, so temperature should feel really nice up there. This first part, the hardest part's really pretty steep. About 600-700 feet of climbing per mile. And then it kind of starts to mellow out just a little bit with a little bit more reprieve. But once I hit the service road, it gets pretty steep, but we're gonna have great views. So let's go. So if you're new to the channel, you've heard me say before, I'm doing a lot of new things this year. And normally this time of year I would run this steady all the way to the top, whatever, however high I'm going that day. This year I'm going to do more intervals, so I'm getting a short interval break after the first mile. The first mile was 650 feet of climbing, so you can see quite the gain. If this was a long race, I'd obviously be hiking it based on the distance of the race, but I'm going off heart rate only, so I'm doing 1 mile repeats to the top, watching my heart rate right at threshold, right below threshold. Normally, if I'm racing, I might monitor my watts, and if I start working really hard and my watts drop, I know that's a time to start to hike. I'm also doing a race in September that has a three mile climb of over 2,000 feet. So it's a little bit more than the average today. So good training. Looks like we got some snow up here. I'm gonna get through the snow and start my second interval. I'm at the intersection. So I know I'm gonna hit snow. So I want to get into a good groove, a good interval. I'm gonna hit the road now, knowing that for sure I'm gonna have to hit it up just another switchback or so. So it's the road from here on out. Several months ago, I started a new playlist on the channel called The Art of Running. And this is based on kind of the fundamental aspects of running to build a great foundation and things that are just elemental to the art of running. Today, we're gonna really talk about the downhill, the descent, how you do it well, how you prevent injury, all that jazz. So we'll do that on the way down. Let's go. Time to run. All right, I'm approaching mile 3, and I'm getting my recovery early because I've got a little reprieve here. Then up by that snow, it really kicks up. So once I start running, I just want to kind of stay in the groove to the gondola. Since this is so steep, like I said, mile 1 was 650 feet climbing. Mile 2 was 633, so a little bit mellower. I haven't hit mile 3 yet to know what that is, but I'm right at 2,000 feet, which puts us almost at mile 3. And the reason I really run this, even though it's really steep, is that I can really focus on quick cadence at such a steep grade. It just makes everything else so much easier to run with good cadence. So again, normally in a race, this might be a hike, power hike, run combo based on the distance of the race. But in training, I'm always running it to develop better and better aerobic power and my cadence. All right, I'm gonna go top of that little popper. Nice views. Here we go, almost at 9,000 feet. Gonna start sucking it here. Made it to the Gandhi. What a day. 2,700 feet. And I'm headed down, and we're gonna start the art of the downhill. That last mile was 560 feet. So the road is just a little bit longer than a trail. So that took me an hour and 10 minutes to go 2,700 feet. So felt pretty good. Okay, so part of the Art of Running series, part of what encompasses everything that'll be covered in this series is that this is art. This is something that we look to get better through time. We master it. It's something that we can always get better at. So it's not just something that we're looking to learn once and expect to get it and then never think about it again. It's something that we always are learning to perfect. So all winter long, all spring long, when I'm doing hills, the first thing I'm focused on is running them easy with good foot strike. We want a very subtle forefoot to heel strike, just like we normally would. I'm gonna put the camera down. We're gonna demonstrate a little bit, but the key to downhill running is not to beat the quads up. Okay, that leads to IT band trouble. It leads to a lot of dysfunction that I've talked about in other videos. We don't want to beat the quads up by heel striking or relying on gravity and just falling into the hill. That's something that we just don't want to do. So what we do want to do is we want to focus on what I call propelling ourselves downhill. We're going to land underneath us, strike the ground, and then push ourselves downhill. And just like I mentioned when I'm running up something very steep like this, I like to practice downhill very steep because it's very, very unnatural. It pulls us into a mistake of wanting to heel strike or to really use gravity rather than propel. So if I can do it here, I can do it on most any hill. Okay, so I'm gonna put the camera down and demonstrate a little bit. Okay, so what I mean by propelling ourselves downhill is what we want to land, strike the ground, drive into the ground, no different than if we're running on flat, and push ourselves downhill. Okay, it requires a lot of practice and a lot of patience and trust in yourself. And again, that's always going to be dictated by the grade as well. Okay, what we don't want to do is reach way out and heel strike, or a mistake I see athletes make, they think they have good foot strike, but they're still reaching way out. They might land like that, but look, I'm way far out. I'm overstriding, everything comes here, okay? We still want to strike the ground somewhat underneath us, land, and propel, okay? This is where the practice comes in. Okay, it takes a lot of practice to, like I said, to trust yourself to do it versus relying on gravity. If you rely on gravity, you're just braking every step of the way. So as I mentioned, every spring I'm working on my downhill. The key is that I'm running it as easy as possible to have good foot strike. If I'm needing to heel strike, I'm above and beyond what I can do from a speed standpoint to have good form. So I back off. So all spring, I'm working on just creating strength, running easy downhill with good foot strike. Again, if I'm forced to heel strike, I'm running too fast and I slow down. And this is what the progression is that you keep running easy with good foot strike. The foot strike is your key. And this is in training. So what happens is just like skiing, okay? The better and the better it get at good foot strike, the faster and faster you start to go, and the better and better you get at trusting yourself to propel and push yourself down the hill versus fall down the hill with gravity. We don't want to use gravity, okay? That's braking, okay? So again, we've got to be patient. This is art, and we just keep getting better with good foot strike. Okay, here's another good section. I'm gonna run. Want you to watch my foot strike. Watch how I land underneath me. I'm going at a speed that allows me to do that. And then as soon as I land and strike the ground, I'm pushing myself forward. This is a little more gradual, more kind of real world type of hill. And another thing that's key is doing intervals. If you're finding a nice hill that allows you to run rather fast, so it's more of a gradual hill with good foot strike, do intervals on that. Train your brain, okay? And then as you get better and better, find something that's just maybe a little bit steeper and a little bit steeper, and just get better and better at gravity trying to pull you into a mistake and not letting it happen, and getting faster and faster with a steeper and steeper grade with good foot strike. So now let's talk about stability. Stability is the holy grail in run health. So our foot strike is creating stability and force into the ground to propel us forward and to use more of our posterior rather than all just quads and anterior. But what else will help us be stable? Our arms. We have to use our arms, especially going downhill, to help us be stable. By moving our arms, that activates all the micro muscles in our spine to keep us stable, to keep us upright, to help us with our core. So we really need to be focused and cognizant of how much we're using our arms. We want to use them a lot. Okay, I mentioned when it gets super steep, you really gotta really focus on good form and slow it way down. Sometimes when it gets super steep, like this little section right here, it doesn't look super steep on camera, but I'm gonna demonstrate. It's pretty steep. We want to go to a very quick cadence and almost just kind of pick your way down the hill to remain with good foot strike and keeping everything underneath you. And sometimes I just like to kind of skip and use some lateral movements. That lateral movement is a form of braking without our legs going out in front of us to brake. If we brake laterally, our body or our feet are still underneath our body, and so we're still have good stability and using our body well. So again, I like to skip, but the point is, hey, find some lateral movement, especially on single track, to help you brake when it gets super steep. So here goes. Breeze is starting to kick up. Even though it's a beautiful day today, we've got a cold front coming in. We're expecting 20-degree difference tomorrow. By 2 days from now, we're expecting snow for the first week of June. So typical mountain weather, but it's also 2 months from my start of my camp. So looking forward to that. We're still making it a go, even with pandemic. So if you're up for a spontaneous adventure, check out my website for camp dates and descriptions. We'd love to see you here. There's that wind. So getting back to that propulsion forward, is that we talked a lot about our foot strike and landing, striking the ground and propelling yourself downhill. What helps with that is to think about leading with your hips. And I like to think, since we're in Wyoming, I like to say, hey, imagine a cowboy's throwing a lasso around your waist and pulling you downhill with your waist, and you're leading with your hips. That'll help you from leaning or getting too far out in front of you with your feet and putting, again, all the stress on the quads and braking. So try leading with your hips. If you haven't done downhills in a while and you start to practice this, one sign that you're doing it really well is you start to get sore in your glute medius. It's that muscle right between your front pocket and your back pocket. If you're sore there the next day, that means you really had good foot strike, allowing that glute medius to work and stabilize your hips. That's important. It's a very important muscle, and why foot strike is so important. Had a marmot go down here. Let's see if we can see a marmot. Yeah. Getting there. So when a terrain gets super technical, we've got to really rely on our practice with cadence and moving our feet really quickly, side to side, forward a little bit, but everything underneath us to keep, again, using our body well, but navigating all the technical aspects. We can't really stride it out. So again, practicing quick cadence, agility drills, anything that will help you really fine tune your quick feet will help. So if you're a road racer who doesn't normally race on a very hilly course, it's still very valid to train hills because it's great foot strength, great isometric strength, great strength in general. So really good training regardless of whether you're running on hilly or flat types of courses. Obviously, if you're a trail runner, trail racer, ultra racer, you know the importance of the downhill sections. We want to take advantage of the downhills in racing, so it's paramount to really practice good form so you get better and better, faster and faster at it without beating your body up. You don't want to be walking downhill. All right, we're back to the single track. Okay, here's a good section to talk about that lateral braking I was talking about. I gotta catch my breath. We've got a little 180 right back around. Woo! I'm lightheaded. Going back up the hill too quick. So like I mentioned, we've got a little 180. Once I hit this corner, I'm just gonna do it slow motion. Pretend I'm running and watch my feet. Instead of going out in front of me, I'm gonna hit this corner from the side and push myself that way. I'm gonna put the camera right here. Hopefully you can see that. So as I'm running down, instead of coming out in front and making the corner that way, I'm gonna come lateral in that way. So everything is like this rather than out in front of me. Now I'm under control. Everything's underneath me. That's the lateral movement I'm talking about. Nine miles, 5,500 foot plus or minus, so good day. Let's recap. Anything that involves skill takes practice, repetition. And downhill is definitely a skill that takes art, that takes time, that looks to accomplish mastery through the rest of your running career. So it's not something that you're going to get by next week. Let's just always get better. I'm always looking to get better. So the key, start easy, start slow, treat your body well with your foot strike, and then as your body gets used to good foot strike, just start to speed it up, and you'll just keep getting better and better and train that agility. All the drills I have on the channel will help with this. But again, nothing replaces going out and just working the downhills. So make it fun, be relaxed. A relaxed runner is a fast runner. Okay, hope you enjoyed it. Again, send your questions and we'll attack them. And as always, peace, and hope everybody's doing well, and thanks for watching.